Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to our next snippet. So I can't believe it, we're on snippet 81. This was 77 and 78. I just adore them. I love looking back on them. This was 79 and 80. So now we're on snippet 81. So let's just move the book out of the way. So we're going to create snippet 81. I've got no plan. The only plan I've got is to use snippet stencil tag, excuse me, SS11. So that's the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to take the tag and I'm going to go towards more on the left hand side. And I'm going to begin with my Distress Oxide Speckled Egg, and I'm using my blending tool. So I'm going to use Speckled Egg and I'm going to pick up a really good layer of ink, and you can see I'm holding that blending brush a little bit further down. So, and if I hold it further down, it means that I get a stronger application of ink by holding it further down. If I lift my fingers further up the blending tool, I can then get a lighter blend and just soften the edges. So I'm just blending very lightly and softening the edge. You can add some low tack tape if you wish to the edges. I'm then going to take some Salty Ocean. So let's take Salty Ocean. I'm using one of my smaller blending tools, and if I hold it lower down onto the blending tool, I can get a richer layer of ink. So just apply that there and I can get that richer layer of ink. If I move my hands further up, I can then soften the edges of that colour. Then go to the previous colour, which is Speckled Egg, and just blend the edges out. So we've got a beautiful blend there, absolutely gorgeous, and it softens out. I'm then going to use the cutout onto the, what's this called? The tag. Tracy can't speak. And then I'm going to add another tag sort of further down. Now again, you can hold these in place by all means with your low tack tape. So I'm going to apply the Speckled Egg just like we did before. And when I want the richness of colour, I'm keeping my hands further down on that blending tool and then lifting my hands further up as I want to blend that out to a softer blend of colour. And what will happen is this tag will appear behind my first tag. So then we'll take our Salty Ocean and just apply a layer of ink of the Salty Ocean. And again, I'm holding my hand down on my blending tool. The blending tools are available on my website. Again, if you want some richer colour, apply another layer of that colour and then blend out with the lighter colour, just so that you don't get any harsh edges. You've then got, let's just apply that there. You've then got the ink on here, and if you wish, you can spritz that with water and you can get another. Now what I'm doing is, I will explain. So I've just gone over here a little bit more because you'll get a little bit of a white edge because this has a lip. Now if you create a mask, you won't get that white edge, but sometimes I like the white edge. But if you don't want the white edge and you want to go completely behind, just add a little bit more colour to the edge, and it just, but the white edge just gives definition. Now if you don't want that, just go in without your mask there and just blend the colour. There we go, blended away. Again, you can use the ink that remains on the stencil. Now, I'm not going to rush this. I'm in a go slow mood, so that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just doing a go slow. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to use these florals here. And the idea of the snippets is to give simple ideas. So I'm going to use TE26 Jar of Wishes. If I wanted to, I could add the jar on the top of the tags quite easily if I decide I wanted to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the florals, which coordinates beautifully with my 6x6 stencil Wild Flower. So let's grab some colours. Of course, it's going to take me ages now because I think I've put the colour away that I wanted. Have I? So I've got the Barley Blue and I have the Arctic. Now, I'm not sure what they look like together. So when you get to a situation like this where we don't know what it's like together, start with the lightest colour. Let's start with that lightest colour, which is the Arctic. Again, I have these on the website. And let's just add a little bit of the Barley Blue. And let's just stamp that and have a look. Yes, really pretty colours, so we can use those. So I'm going to add the Arctic first. Tracy can't get her words out. So I'm going to add the Arctic first. Let's try not to over ink, Tracy. So we're going to add the Arctic and then I'm going to take the Barley Blue. And every time you do it, it looks completely different. Now, it's entirely up to you where you want to sort of add your florals. And I am a faffer, as you well know by now. So I'm going to add this here, like so. And if you weren't happy with the colour, you could quite easily change the colour. But this gives me a blue base to work with. So let's grab the Arctic again. So we'll take that Arctic. We'll take the Barley Blue. And then let's have a look what it looks like if we stamp onto the background. So then you get a more faded out look. But don't forget you're working on that oxide. So that is going to have a gloss to it, a shine, because you're working on that oxide ink. So you will need to dry your VersaFine Clair or blot it. But I recommend that you do give that a little bit of a dry. So then I'm going to add a third one just here, like so. So just add our third one there. And then again, I'm going to look at my jar. And if you're unsure where you're going, just take your acetate and then you can just have a look at how you feel where that's going. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink that up with the VersaFine Clair Morning Mist. One of my favourite colours and I feel one of the most versatile colours is the Morning Mist. I just think it's a beautiful colour. And sometimes when you don't want black, it just works beautifully. So I'm just giving that a really good inking. Sometimes I turn my card a little bit just so that I can see where I'm going. So let's just add that jar on the top. I love this little jar. I just think it's lovely. And you can see I'm just giving that plenty of time just to absorb onto the surface. Now, it's going to absorb onto the surface, but it's on the oxide surface. So what we need to do is give that a dry. So let's give that a dry. And like me, you can drop your heat tool on the floor like I often do. So let's just give that a little bit of a waft of a dry, a waft. So just give that a little bit. I'm not going to spend ages just drying that. And then let's just blot that, and that's lovely. It's blotted beautifully. I'm going to then take, hopefully I've got my little brush here, I'm going to take some of the Salty Ocean. Nobody needs that much, but you know me, usually add too much. That's me all over. So I'm then going to take a little bit of the Salty Ocean and just blend that out. And it just gives me more depth of colour just to my florals. And I know it's a snippet. The idea is it's a snippet of an idea, not about rushing. You know, I know sometimes you just want brief videos, but the snippets are also about simple ideas, but you still want quality. You don't want to rush your projects. You want it to still be about that quality. And as always, when I'm doing this kind of thing, I would recommend that you just give that a dry. And that you build the layers. Because when you've got your book, your little snippet book like I have, I love looking back on it. But you want to be proud of what you're looking back on. You want it to sort of bring a smile to your face. So don't sort of rush your snippets because it's supposed to be 15 minutes or it's supposed to be 20 minutes. The snippets will vary in length because sometimes it's more about the simple ideas, not about the time scale. So let's just build this up. So what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to, first of all, rinse my, what's this called? Brush. Do you like how Tracy can speak at the moment? Tracy can't speak at the best of times. Let's have it. There we go. So I'm just going to put the little heart here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of the candied apple. There we go. Just add a little bit of the candied apple. And again, I'm just going to dry that because I want to add layers of colour. Did you see then? I nearly went in to the blue water. And it's important that you add those layers because that's what gives you the depth to your design. Now, I don't want to mix the red and blue because I don't want to create the sort of purple. So let's just blend that out a little bit, just so that it's got a little bit of depth. I'm using a wipe that's got hardly any wet in it at all. So let's just give this a little bit of a clean. Again, because I don't want purpley colours. There we go. And again, I would recommend once it's dried a little bit more, you go in and you just add another layer of that colour. And trust me, it will be worth it because you're just building up that layer of colour just to your design. And if, like me, you can lean your arm in the water, it's lovely. So just give it a little bit more depth. Let's clean that up because Tracy keeps putting her arm in there. And let's just give that a little bit of a clean. There we go. And then I'm going to take Might not be here, might have put that away. And then we're just going to add a little bit of shading just around your vase. Just touch that. Now, just be aware that you've got the oxide underneath there. So don't add too much water. Just be aware of that. I'm just going to add a little bit more black there, just so I can blend that out a little bit more. Okay, I'm then going to take my white pen and then just add some of the white just here and there. It's important that you add those touches of white, but sometimes unless you dry the area, your white isn't really going to work, especially, she says, especially on those oxide inks, unless you sort of allow the areas to dry. Now, if you don't have much luck with your pens, why not try some paint and use the white paint directly on there. I'm going to add a little bit of stamping. Now, I bet you can't guess which stamp I'm going to use. TE11. I bet you didn't even think I was going to use TE11, did you? No, you didn't. So we're going to use that grey again, and which is Morning Mist, and we're just going to add some of that stamping just to the back. Oh, every time it's just that finishing touch that you need every single time. So let's add a little bit to the jar. Just look, every single time. Let's make sure we don't touch that. It's just a lovely, just something that you need. It just works beautifully. So then I'm just going to add the word thank you. And it's like all these videos that I do. It's a thank you to you for your support, for all your help in allowing me to do exactly what I love doing, which is creating and sharing ideas with you all. And even if you just take a snippet of something from the snippets, then I've done my job. And also, as long as I've encouraged you to use your stamps, well, that makes me happy. I can never find my stamps. There we go. Thank you. So let's grab some scissors and add that thank you. I've got water all over this because I just dipped it in the water because I'm good like that. Let's add that thank you. And you can see, as always, I've made that a little bit smaller so it's not too bulky. Because when I'm working on the 4x6, I don't like to make it, the sentiment, too bulky. Just add the thank you here. Like so. And just give, again, unlike me, you would give this time the sentiment to dry. You wouldn't try and do what I'm doing. There we go. And add shading when the sentiment is moving around all over the place. So let's just add a little bit of shading under that sentiment. There we go. And then it's up to you. Where's my... I've got my VersaFine Clair strawberry. Tracy can't speak. And then, where is the smaller floral? If you look in on your stamp set, there's a smaller little floral. But I think it's that one that I want. Right, I still want this one. So let's have a look at it's up to you to decide whether you want to use the strawberry to add a couple of the red ones. I'm going to add these straight over. I might make it a bit longer. What I'm trying to do is show you how you can make a snippet and take it a little bit further. And Tracy is going to faff like mad. There you go. So it's entirely up to you if you take your little snippet a little bit further by adding the red if you wish. It's entirely up to you. And obviously you can mask off your florals if you wish. I don't think I've got. Let's see if we have. I'm doing it all in one here, showing you a snippet, but also showing you how you can take it a little bit further. I think, yeah, that's the stencil. I don't think I've got one of these little ones, have I? I've got that many stencils. No, I haven't. But if you create a mask, you can then add another one if you wish. I'm just going to do that. Here, I've got this. Where's my scissors? So just create a mask. Just of your little floral. Let's just move this out of the way so you can create a mask of your little floral. Waste not, want not. You can then place this over here like so, and then we can ink this in the red. And then I can add that just there. And this will go behind that. There we go. Just beautiful. And if you wish, you can add more depth to that red, should you wish. But the red, the strawberry VersaFine Clair, is a lovely colour. Really nice and rich. It really is. So if you dry a little bit, you can then add your touches of white that just bring it to life. And then just here and there, just add little touches of the shading just on the flower. So just add a little bit of shading just on the flowers, because when you look back on it, you still want to look back on that quality project and that you've done everything properly. And then finally, just give that a few splatters, especially if your pen works. If your Posca pen isn't working, just give that a shake and then press lightly onto your non-stick craft sheet, just so that you get the paint flowing. And then don't forget the lower part of your tags, just so that those are shaded as well. Just blend your shading out a little bit, just so that we've got a little bit of definition and shading. And then just to finish, just take your oxide ink and rub the salty ocean around the edges of your card. And then if we bring in our Snippet album, you can then add that to your little book. So that is, I've forgotten, Snippet 81. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you'll give that a go. Let's leave that there. Love to all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.